Welcome, class, to Kitchen 101, where we teach you how to think like a chef, how to cook, not what to cook, giving you the knowledge and comfort you need to create and modify recipes to fit your chosen way of eating and lifestyle. Today we will learn how to brew kombucha. So grab your pen, paper, and a clean bottle because I'm Professor Kitchen and class is in session. One of the great things about modern society is we have started getting to the stage where the old foods are coming back into style. One of these old school foods is kombucha. What is kombucha? Kombucha is essentially fermented tea. But we're not making tea wine here. It's more of a tea vinegar. While you can buy kombucha at the store, it is super easy and inexpensive to make. It's even better that you can flavor and sweeten it to your taste and not what somebody else likes. So let's get started. We'll start with making the tea. You're going to want to make some strong, sweet tea. Nothing fancy here. Just the cheap stuff you get at the grocery. The nuanced flavors of things like Earl Grey are, at best, lost in the kombucha. And at worst, will kill all the good stuff that's in the kombucha. Also, make sure you use non-chlorinated water. If you're on city water, you're going to want to run that through an activated charcoal filter before you use it. The reason for this is that the chlorine in the water will kill all the good stuff that's in the kombucha. Now, I make 5 gallons of kombucha at once, which is a lot. If you're doing a smaller batch, you need to make the appropriate amount of tea. Put your tea bags and your water into a pot and bring it to a boil on the stove. Then, once it gets to a boil, shut it off and just leave it alone and let it steep for about 30 minutes. This will make it nice and strong. After the steeping is done, go ahead and remove the tea bags. You can squeeze out the excess tea, it's alright. Now we're going to add sweetener. Actually, you're going to need to go with sugar. Real table sugar. 1 cup per gallon of tea that you're making. Any of the fake stuff. Sugar is what feeds the bacteria and yeast that are fermenting the kombucha. No calorie or low calorie sweeteners are not going to give them what they need for them to live. If you're watching your sugar intake, you can reduce the amount of sugar you use here. I'm using 2 cups of sugar in my 5 gallons worth of kombucha. That's about a 2/5 ratio. And that seems to work pretty well. Don't worry, we're going to get a chance to add more sweetener later on. You're probably going to need to add a little bit more heat here to get the sugar to dissolve, but don't bring it up to a boil again. Just put enough heat into it for the sugar to dissolve. For me, it required just over a minute to get it all that sugar dissolved into the tea. Now, go ahead and turn that off and let it come back to room temperature before we do anything else with it. While we're waiting for that tea to come down to room temperature, go ahead and clean out whatever containers you're going to be using to ferment your kombucha. Note here, make sure you use glass, ceramic, or some other material that will not leach into the kombucha. Don't use any sort of plastic, metal, or wood. This is very important because kombucha is very acidic. It's vinegar, remember. You'll be letting this ferment for about 2 weeks, and you don't want any of the bits of whatever container you have it in leaching into your kombucha. Now you notice, I talked about I'm making a lot of it at once. I have my 5-gallon container. This is what I do my brewing in. I don't have enough empty bottles at this point to put all the 5 gallons of kombucha in it at once. So I have a couple gallon glass containers that I store my excess in. I'm almost out of the bottled stuff, so it's time to bottle some more and start another batch brewing. Here are the bottles that I got from the last of my storage. 2 lemon, 2 orange, 4 grapefruit, 2 blueberry, 2 strawberry, and 3 kiwi. Pretty nice stash. Once your fermenting container is clean and your tea is room temperature, let's get these together. If this is your first time making kombucha, you're going to need one of 3 things. Some store-bought kombucha, preferably plain, none of the flavored stuff. Or you're going to need a SCOBY that you've gotten from someone who already makes their own kombucha. Or you're going to need some apple cider vinegar. I just talked about a SCOBY. Let's touch real quick on what a SCOBY is. Fermentation requires creating an environment where certain good bacteria and yeast can grow, and the ones that make us sick don't grow. Thankfully, it is quite easy, as each requires a different pH level in order to grow properly. As these good bacteria and yeast start eating the sugar in the tea, they start reproducing, and quickly. As their family reunion grows more and more, they gather together in a massive clump at the top of your kombucha. This is called a SCOBY. SCOBY stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast. Ingenious. Because these bacteria and yeast need the correct pH in order to live, we're going to need to alter the natural pH of our tea to make a nice SCOBY home. We do this with a little pre-made kombucha or some apple cider vinegar. Of these two methods, using some kombucha is the best. Why? Because it will not only bring up the pH of the tea, but will also preload with a lot of the bacteria and yeast that we're looking for. I've got some leftover kombucha and my SCOBY, so that's what I'm going to use. Make sure your hands are clean and grab that SCOBY. Don't worry, it doesn't feel slimy like you think it does. The texture is really more like leather than anything else. Add the SCOBY and the kombucha to the fermenting container. Now, let's add the tea. If you need to add some water to the fermenting container to fill it up, go ahead. Just remember, non-chlorinated. Go ahead and run it through a filter or buy it by the gallon at your local grocery store. Now that we've got the kombucha starter started, we're going to need to keep dust and stuff out of it. However, do not put a lid on it. The fermentation process needs to breathe. Take a clean towel, washcloth, or rag and lay it over the container opening. Now you can just use a rubber band to keep it in place. Congratulations, you've got a batch of kombucha brewing. Easy, huh? To get it brewing at the fastest rate, we're going to want to put this in a dark room temperature area. You don't want it too hot and you don't want it too cold. I use one of our closets for mine. Just put it in there and leave it alone for about 2 weeks. Don't mess with it, just leave it alone. Unlike your coworker who never does anything unless the boss is around, this stuff is going to do its job without you micromanaging it. Well, that's how you go about making kombucha. If you have any questions, please ask them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this class, please be sure to click the like button. If you wish to receive notifications when I release a new class, please click the subscribe and the bell button. Thank you all for coming. Hope you have a great week. God bless. Class dismissed.